This is the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla.
Can we go another direction, and can we allow the private sector to grow and thrive? That's what I'm hearing from Americans, is that great concern.
Sarah Palin has said it time and time again. Yes, we need to replace Obama, but we also need common-sense conservatives in Congress. Today, a fiery candidate from the Constitution State is here to state her case for a trip to Washington. Daria Novak running for the House in Connecticut. The Palins are hitting reality TV again. Bristol has a new show, and now Todd, the first dude, is getting set to compete in a program on NBC. We'll tell you all about it. Ted Cruz gives Governor Palin a shout-out during a big debate in Texas. Sarah Palin offers Father's Day wishes to her dad, and a verdict in the Jerry Sandusky case. Jackie Siciliano of Team Sarah has referred to Daria Novak as a woman with a spine of steel, and Novak is hoping to head to D.C. and bring her conservative values with her and cut the out-of-control spending that is crippling our great country. Daria Novak, thanks so much for joining us here today on the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio.
I'm very happy to be here.
Now, this campaign has already had some wild twists and turns. I'm going to let you give us a recap of how things have played out so far. Where do we stand, and what's next in your race?
Well, I'm in a primary. Connecticut's one of 3 states in the country that have both a convention and a primary system. In 2010, I ran, won the state convention, and then later lost by about 20 votes per town, so I'm back at it again. As you know, sometimes conservatives have to run again. I believe former President Reagan did that and did just fine.
Now, you weren't endorsed by the party, is that correct?
Last time I was, this time I was not.
And I remember a time when being endorsed was a great thing, but nowadays, you know, sometimes, of course, you want to spin it in your favor, but can't you argue the benefits of not being endorsed? Obviously, not tapping into the GOP money machine's a negative, but often we see the most Palin-esque candidates, if you will, aren't endorsed because they are not establishment politicians.
Well, you hit it on the nail on the head right here in Connecticut. We have party regulars that are looking to find Republican light, and I'm not Republican light. I'm a strong conservative. I always have been. It's not a political position. If I'm willing to bend and become liberal, sure, I'd have their support. But the good thing is I have the support of the people of my district, and we're seeing that in polls I'm doing extremely well. As a matter of fact, in 2010, our gubernatorial candidate in this congressional district won the vote, the Republican candidate. We have the votes here. And now I'm seeing people coming out of the woodwork. They're just tired of what's going on. And they're telling me enough is enough. We don't care whether you're the endorsed candidate or whether you're primarying, we're supporting you. And that's what I need, the passion of the people.
And meantime, you have received some impressive endorsements along the way.
You know, we've done very well. We've had a lot of endorsements going down. We've got the Frederick Douglass Foundation helping us. I've been endorsed by New Generation, PAC, and actually I'm filling out a lot of other forms right now, so we'll have future endorsements coming up pretty shortly, too.
What about Governor Palin? She means a lot to you, and your approach to running reflects that, I think.
Oh, I've been on, a Sarah team member since early 2009, and we haven't stopped. We have Connecticut for Sarah. We have different groups around. We believe in a conservative message here in Connecticut. We're traditional New England, but the difference is we are silent no more.
Team Sarah always speaks highly of you. I see the tweets. I see the comments. Personally, I've heard good things about you from Team Sarah members, and to me, that carries a lot of weight.
Well, she and I agree on ideas. I mean, one day my goal is I would love to meet her or to interview her on the radio show that I have.
Tell us, Daria, about the big issues in Connecticut and why voters need to look at you and not just do what party bosses say.
Jobs are the big issue here in Connecticut, and overregulation of business. In Connecticut, we are coming awake. We're coming of age and realizing finally, a few years after the rest of the nation, that big government, overregulation, is putting a stranglehold on prosperity in America. And the only way to do something about it is to stand up, come out, vote, volunteer, donate, or run for office. And we are seeing a resurgence of conservative candidates coming out in Connecticut, which is really good, I think, for the party, because now we can offer a different solution than what the Democrats have been offering us here in Connecticut, which is more of the same, and we're rejecting it.
You know, we've seen kind of a mixed bag, and I know you're probably in tune to all of this when you're not running your own race, taking a look at what's going on around the country. And we've seen kind of a mixed bag of results, those who are running, say, as the Tea Party person or as the non-endorsed person. We've had some great candidates like Jamie Radke in Virginia, Greg Sowards out in New Mexico, and then when it came to the polls, well, things just didn't shape up. Meantime, you have others like Anna Little in New Jersey, and you see Deb Fischer in Nebraska, and countless others who did pull it off and did win. So what do you think the difference is? And you know, obviously you look at some states more liberal than others, but is it just getting out there and talking to the people, or is there something else that you're honing in on to try to be that person who gets over the top with strictly on that conservative constitutional message?
I think one of the differences, at least here in eastern Connecticut, is we have a nuclear subbase at Groton, a national defense industry here. In addition, as you move inland, we have traditional industry and farming. It's regular America, and what happens is I have 64 towns in my district. I go out and walk with the people in the districts. I go out and talk to them. I sit in their living rooms. They're tired of being fed lines, and the one thing that everybody always tells me is, it is refreshing to hear you because you tell the truth, and I'm not afraid to speak out. You know, one radio host told me that within 30 seconds he knew what I was all about, and because I would actually give him an answer. I think that's what people in America are looking for today, someone who's not afraid, not worried about whether they get elected, but they're worried about what effect, what change they can have when they get in office. So they speak out.
Well, you do give the answers, Daria, and you also sum yourself up pretty well. Fiscally conservative, sanctity of life, and pro-Constitution. I mean, I read those three things on your Twitter page, and I say, hey, look, this is somebody we want to showcase and somebody we want to talk to. What about life issues? I know you've gotten involved and rolled up your sleeves in some situations there recently.
You know, I'm pro-life. I've attended, freedom rallies for religious freedom. I've attended life summits. That's not a political position, though. That's just who I am.
Yeah, I think people are a little taken aback by that when you hear a politician not trying to spin things. It must be a lot easier for you to answer questions than some like our president who need a teleprompter. You just speak from the heart. Is that the case? You know,
actually, I don't even write political speeches. I really do just speak. But as I tell my two teenagers, if you don't lie, you don't have to worry about remembering the lie. I just tell the truth, and I say the same thing in public and on the radio as I do in my home in private.
And I heard you strapped on the boxing gloves recently, too.
Oh, boy, you heard everything. We did a birthday roast with the idea that they're going to criticize me anyway. Let's make them pay for it, and we'll raise some money along the way. So they roasted me last February for my 55th birthday, and Kathy Blake, my deputy campaign manager, pulled out a box and made me open it in front of the entire crowd. And I knew I was going to be in trouble, but they were red, white, and blue boxing gloves with flags on the back. So I said, we're coming out fighting, and we're fighting hard because there's not a war on women. We're a women at war in America to save this country.
And as I found out when we spoke off the air tonight, you're a lefty, too, so a boxer and a southpaw. You got to watch this, folks. She's coming at you.
And I don't stop.
And you said the red, white, and blue. So the southpaw, you got the Rocky thing, the red, white, and blue. You got the Apollo Creed. Perfect fighter here, I would say, for the people. These are the types of folks we need to send, ladies and gentlemen, to Washington, not these lifetime politicians who want to sit there and use the perks for them and forget that, they work for us, not vice versa. Let me ask you this, Daria, so we can get people taking a look at you, not just in Connecticut, but everywhere. What is your website?
Novak, Novak, NovakForCongress.com, and I would love to have the support because you're right, I'm not an establishment candidate. I'm too much for freedom and prosperity and belief in the Founding Fathers for some of the people.
And is that Novak, F-O-R, Congress?
That's correct, Novak, F-O-R, Congress.
Okay, and primary date?
August 14.
Okay, so you got a little ways here still. Just pedal to the metal. What's the most important thing here as you close? Is it, again, just meeting as many people as you can and getting the word out that way, or is there something else you need to focus in here to finish the deal?
We've been able to get a lot of in-kind donations to do what we need, but now we need to raise money for the media, for the big push toward the end. So if anyone can send in any size donation to the campaign, that is what is greatly appreciated right now.
Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, Daria Novak, she is a Team Sarah member. You take a look at where she stands on most things. It's almost like a carbon copy of the governor, and hopefully some of these Palinistas can help you out. It's a winnable race, right, Daria?
Definitely. The polls actually showed we're doing extremely well. A Republican governor, as I said, took this district when he ran in 2010, so we know the votes are here, and we have two-thirds right to life in a recent poll that we did in this district. Just to give you an idea, New England has conservatives. We're alive and well. We've got 26 Tea Party groups, I believe, in this state.
And this is a seat that you really need to take back, isn't it, with what has been, your eventual opponent, assuming you win in August?
The Democrat that is in this office votes with Pelosi 98% of the time. Do I need to say more?
I'm terrified already. That's, no, you don't. I mean, I mentioned Anna a little earlier running in New Jersey. She spoke about her opponent, Frank Palin, who tries to actually take credit for Obamacare. Okay.
So does this congressman. It's shocking.
Amazing, isn't it nuts? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, you said you speak from the heart. Okay, well, maybe they are too. That's nice. But when you see something, hey, look, I'm doing everything that is wrong for my constituents in America, it's got to be a red flag.
He got from Club for Growth a 0% on his little pork votes. 0%. 0 out of 67 votes. You can't do much worse than 0.
Unbelievable. Well, we hope you do a lot better than 0 and take this thing in August, and then we'll look forward to you taking him on when we get toward November. But, Daria, thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to get the word out here, spread the word on your website, and hopefully get you a little help along the way.
I could use it. Thank you very much.
Daria Novak on the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. The financial reporting quarter closes at the end of June, so it is a critical month for Daria's campaign. If you can donate before the end of the month, the Novak campaign will put it to good use, that's for sure. NovakForCongress.com. After the great success of Sarah Palin's Alaska, the Palin family is back in the reality show game. We told you about Bristol Palin's new show, Bristol Palin Life's a Trip. Well, the program has made its debut on Lifetime, and you can catch it each and every week, Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. Now, Bristol isn't alone on the small screen. Todd Palin will be a competitor on the new NBC show Stars Earn Stripes. 8 people will be taken to a remote training facility to tackle difficult missions inspired by real military exercises. Each person will be paired with a trainer who has been a member of the armed forces or a law enforcement agency, and each team will play for a military or veterans charity. Along with Todd Palin, Layla Ali, and Nick Lachey are some of the other contestants. Stars Earn Stripes premieres August 13th on NBC with the first dude, Todd Palin. At the Texas U.S. Senate Republican debate this past week, Ted Cruz mentioned Sarah Palin during his closing comments. Palin, of course, endorsed Cruz, which led to the runoff race. Cruz fared quite well in the big debate, going after his opponent for repeatedly compromising with Democrats while overseeing legislation in the state Senate. The week started with Governor Palin wishing a happy Father's Day to the Papa Grizzlies in her life. Palin posting, "Happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you for everything. Happy Father's Day, Todd. You are my rock. And Happy Father's Day, Son. You and all our troops are my heroes. To all the good dads out there, God's blessings on you all." Also worth noting, folks, the monster, Jerry Sandusky, was convicted this past week of 45 of the 48 counts against him in the child sex abuse case that rocked the nation. It makes us remember what Sarah Palin said about this predator when the details first started coming out. Palin said, "Hang him high. I'll bring the rope." Well, now he'll go away for the rest of his life. We commend the victims on their bravery and pray for all of them. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at SaraNet Radio, and we are now on Facebook, too, so please like SaraNet Radio on Facebook. We are now on demand, so anytime you want to hear the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio, just head over to SaraNetRadio.net, click on the show you want to hear, and it is yours for the listening. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on SaraNet Radio. Visit SaraNetRadio.net for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. I want to thank everyone here at SaraNet Radio. Thanks to Daria Novak. And thank you for listening today. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.